Hey guys, welcome to the very first guest appearance on our podcast. We are extremely excited for this. Me and Matt, we both wanted to start this project, this channel. We always had the plan to do interviews and to have guest appearances. And fortunately for us, our first guest is Daniel Walz. Me and him have been talking a little bit. We met each other in some investment channels. And he's also the co-founder of the Hangover Team, which supplies hydration therapy products to people's front doors. He's a crypto investor, and just I've had a very pleasant time chatting with him. So, Daniel, if you want to kick it off and just kind of tell us how you got started in crypto, what it's been able to provide for you, anything along those lines.
Oh, for sure. First of all, guys, Garrett, Matt, thanks for having me here. It's super fun to be doing this with you and be the first guest. I'm pretty honored. Never done anything quite like this before, and more power to you guys. I can see the dedication behind what you're doing. So, again, thanks for having, and I hope I can contribute something that is of value. Well, dude, it's kind of hard to start what crypto is in terms of, for me at this point, it's what I live off of. But it took me many, many years to get there. All the way from 2015 all the way up to 2019 when I quit my real job. In the meantime, I created a business. So I'm before I would advocate major crypto usage, I would always follow certain laws that I believe in to get wealthy and to get rich, which is fulfill whatever you were doing along your path. And I've read it in certain books like The Science of Getting Rich or The Master Key System. Since Garrett, I know you've mentioned some books on some previous videos that I think are really, really good, like Think and Grow Rich. I would love to bring up the Master Key System because, as the title says, it's the master, and it's 24 chapters and it goes beyond just the thinking. It's the doing and all the habits required. Anyway, I'm getting off subject. It took me a while, but I always believed in crypto. When I was younger, I was a video gamer and I was ridiculed. And when I bought crypto, I was ridiculed. So I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. Um, and I held on to it, and now it's turning into this whole game world of investments and money that I never thought that I would actually have. Suddenly, I have. I mean, I was doing good. I was selling at a vacation resort. I've started a company, but when all of a sudden you have your savings multiplying 10, 20, 30 times, you start looking at life and money in a different way, especially if you start with a good chunk. Never give up your basis in reality. Just like, I don't know, if everybody here, I'm sure, who watches this has seen The Matrix. And in The Matrix, we always come back to the system, I think, is part of the story. But if we do it with love and change, we can also help the system. And I kind of like what you guys are doing because it can help us teach people how to change their participation in the system, which can be more than just, oh, I got to slave away 20, fucking 18 hours a day, 60-hour weeks, just to get ahead. And that's what crypto is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like with the slave jobs, it's a weird feeling when you start making more money from your investments than you do 40 hours a week at a gas station. Like it just
Understood.
it's like it makes you think like the people money makes money. There are people who are just have these massive investments. Their families will never work again in their lives, unless you really mess that up. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but everybody needs to try to get to that level. Like not everybody needs to have the same goals in life, of course, but nobody should be stuck at a bad job their whole lives. Like there are options, there are ways out, and exploring those options. Entrepreneurship is probably a huge one. Both me and Matt, we've always had the goal to be our own boss. David, I'm pretty sure you've accomplished that. So if you have any like advice to people who want to get out of kind of this rat race and into something they've built themselves, how would you give people
There's
advice?
there's a few key things that well, quite a few things along the way. First of all, I failed a bunch. Just simply, nobody really looks at that part, but
Yeah.
first of all, you fuck it up for a while. I had a business that was similar to Uber Eats, and it did honestly well, but it didn't pay. I wasn't. it was before the time of like Google Maps and satellite tracking and all that. So I was in a town at Cancun where street signs are shit. Excuse my language. And we're trying to deliver food for 30 pesos a pop, which is a buck 50. And restaurants are always being late on their payments because it's not automated. So anyway, I kind of chucked that, but it was a successful business structure. It just didn't pay me what I wanted to make in my life. So for me, I never knew really what I wanted to do. So being an entrepreneur always gave me something different to do because I never wanted to be a pilot or a firefighter or any of these things that people always say that we need to dream about being. I always fought against that my whole life. I think that's a big part of being an entrepreneur, which is going against the grain. At the same time, we also need to recognize, however, what professionals learn because having started now a successful business on try number three, first one was Dead Sea Products. I was too young, too inexperienced. I let that one flounder. Second one was the food, not lucrative. Third one, we're doing IV hydration. So basically, my job, or my team's job, is to go make people feel better for a living. I mean, what better cool way to live than that? So we get the opportunity to help people that might have low income. We can help them with medicine. That, in my opinion, is what entrepreneurship and happiness and wealth.
Oh no.
Having what you
Uh-huh.
like and need, and then being able to give to other people what you want to give, not what you have to give, but what you want to give. That's being an entrepreneur. And what sets people apart is it's just the drive because. I mean, I was successful. I had a good job. I really didn't need to try and start a company. But the idea sounded fun. So I went for it. What else? Why not? So I think the big difference, people read Think and Get Rich and all these other stuff, and it's like the secret, and it's about thinking, thinking, thinking. Well, it's about thinking and doing. So the only thing entrepreneurship really is doing and expect nothing. Literally. I mean, expect nothing but trial and tribulation. You think you're going to sleep less? I mean, more? No, you're going to sleep less, at least at the beginning. But after a few years, it's really, 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 really worth it. It really is. It really is because now I get to look at franchises and spend time like here with you guys while I have people out right now. Even though the weather is shitty, there's, I guess, still drunks and people are getting hangover IVs. So I feel very blessed.
I think that's freaking awesome, Daniel, because like not only are you running a successful business right now, but you dipped your toes in it early on too. Like you said, two other businesses. And the fact that you're doing something similar to Uber Eats way before it was even close to a thing is a testament to your brain. That's
I
awesome.
have to No, sorry to interrupt. I have to give credit. Actually, it was not originally my idea. It was a friend who I would actually like to invite to talk with you guys. He's really a productive fellow. His name is Patrick Anderson and his cousin Brandon. They they're also from Chicago, just like me.
Mhm.
What we met here in Cancun, and they are very entrepreneurial people and all about teaching what I call life leverage, which is learning how to do more in less time to enjoy your life in a more bountiful way.
Heck
So
yeah.
they are the true brains behind that. I think they probably did better than I did, though the money was never great. Times were very different. Right now, COVID has blown the prices up, everything off the charts. So
Yeah.
but if you'd like to, we could definitely bring in the people that did have the idea because they wrote up a business plan and I respect them. They built a website. They're very hardworking. They're talented salespeople too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also like even if it isn't your idea, it's about the people that you surround yourself with. The like-minded people or people who are smarter than you, people who are better at doing the things you want to do in your life because it's about learning and experiencing from those who have
Exactly.
who have done it or have just like the brain for it. Everyone's brain works so much different or thinks about things differently or sees things in
Of
such a
course.
different light. So,
It,
even if me and Garrett have the same exact idea for something, the way that our brains can bounce off of each other, you can improve it, you can weed through what's good and what's not, or what you think is good and what's not, and then trial and error, like you've been saying.
I
I just
love
think
it. Sorry, sorry,
no,
sorry.
no, you're good. I think it's just really crazy because Garrett mentioned how a lot of people are, working dead end jobs, and I think me and Garrett have touched on this a little bit, but not a lot of people have like that entrepreneur mindset. A lot of people are so happy with just, I'm going to work at this gas station or work at this business, and I'm going to work my way up to get to a salary that I find acceptable.
Correct.
But
I did that. I was a waiter.
yeah, but they're consistently working for someone else. And I guess a lot of people are just super content with it, but it always kind of confused me.
Yeah.
Why
There's
not?
a phrase that I love, which is, if you don't build your own dream, you're going to build somebody else's.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. You're never gonna
And
be number one working for someone else. Like it's not
yeah.
possible.
Not
the only job that puts you somewhere on around the level of the owner, the difference is you have to work and the owner doesn't, is the salesperson, typically in any job.
yeah.
So I graduated from personally, but I'd like to more than anything address something you said. But I went personally from waiting to sales, vacation sales, and I sold vacations to memberships to nudists. That was fun.
You should talk to my parents,
Um,
man.
Yeah, yeah, his parents, dude, no, his dad loves being naked, bro. If there's
It's
a
Dude,
true. It's
you'd
chance,
be
true.
surprised. You'd be surprised. He might have already been there.
yeah, if there's a
You
if
guys
there's a
probably already know
chance,
each other.
yeah, if his dad could get naked for
I
like
sold your dad a
socially,
membership, dude.
yeah, for socially acceptable reasons, if his dad can get naked, he will
He's
be
already
naked,
yeah,
bro.
he's already
Yeah,
naked.
he's like, oh, really? His pants are out. He's got them tear off pants with the buttons, dude.
Oh, that's
He's
hilarious.
ready to
Oh, your
go.
dad's the guy that bought 100,000 last month. I get it. No, no, but back to what you were saying earlier, which I think is super important. For example, the way you guys would work together, bouncing ideas off each other's brains. In entrepreneurship, partnership is important, and being reliable with a partner is crucial. The idea for the IVs was brought to me again by a fellow in the States that I actually sold a membership to. And he said, "Hey, I think this is lucrative." And I was like, "Whoa." But I looked it up and I said, "Okay, brand new, kind of weird, but fuck it, let's give it a try." So I did
Yeah.
it. I think that's the difference is you do it. And there was a doctor that I'd seen who would visit all the different hotels that I worked at different hotels over the years. And this doctor would come and take care of guests, and I would always say hello to him. Very upstanding, very polished gentleman. And I asked about him. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's a great doctor." So I called him and I invited him to coffee. And I said, "I've heard about this concept. What knowledge do you have?" He says, "Well, I kind of do this for some of the rich people around town." Like, well, how about we commercialize it to their guests? Because if these are given to the hotel owners, why not sell it to their guests and we get a contract?
Smart.
And that's what we did. So he became my partner right away. He shook my hand. He said, let's write up a structure." And the other thing I'd like to mention, really important, people talk about debt, personal debt and company debt as if they're the same thing because they're completely different. And one thing is to put your company in debt, and the other thing is to put yourself in debt. So if you put your company in debt, you're obligated to work at it. First of all, a healthy byproduct of being in debt. And even if you don't succeed, well, your company is in debt, so not you. So it's not like you would get in trouble. In this case, I didn't start the company with my own money. I found that I had an investor, and that leads to a sense of tranquility. In my business model, I kept everything mobile, so I don't have a fixed cost other than paying people a salary and respecting that I employ doctors, so to speak. I don't consider anybody an employee; it's a coworker. We work towards a common end. Doctors get paid the most because they should. They study the longest. They put like 8 years, 8 to 10 years of their life in,
Yep.
and it gives at least 4 or 5 doctors right now in town the ability to have a revolving schedule where they can see their patients in the evening. Some of them can do surgeries in the morning, IVs in the afternoon, IVs in the morning with consultations in the afternoon, vice versa. And it brings income to people that's desperately needed right now. When I put out an ad looking for employees, the expectations of salaries were ghastly low. It was terrifying how little money people are willing to work for. And
Wow.
I want them to make more. But you got to be careful
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, as a business person. You don't want to come. I live in a third world country. You don't want to come off as like this ultra rich dude, which I'm not. I do well. I'm careful. I invest. But you got to be careful when you start making large amounts of money with people, with how much money or how much they get to know. Because down here, 2 grand goes a long way. So there's a lot of things that it teaches you, a lot of things that you consider, a lot of things you learn about what it is to be human. At first, for me, it was about the money. Now it's more about the jobs that I can create, to be honest, because crypto gives me my life.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I've on a small scale tried to start my own projects, me and Matt, maybe game development or other things, and here and there, because of my streams and building a small audience, I've had people lend their skills to me, say, "Hey, I can help you make 3D models for this game, or I can help you do this," and that's always awesome. But I've never been able to pay somebody. You know what I mean? I don't have the money to be able to pay you, and that what you just said, being able to pay people, being able to employ people, seems to me like would be an awesome feeling.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, especially like because you have the opportunity to respect that person, to pay them what they're worth, and everybody has had those jobs where it's like, dude, I am not being paid what I'm worth. I this is more of like a slap in the face than it is a paycheck at the end of the week. So
It's like
yeah, go ahead.
working to live. No, it's like I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm cutting you off, but no, I'd like actually to turn my attention towards you because I think you have skills, both of you. Matt, I'm just getting to know you, but Garrett, you have skills that I can see are. I mean, you have talent making videos. You know how to do things that I don't know how to do, which I think I respect and can be used. For example, if you can program in C sharp and you're interested in game development, I have a developed game that I would love to talk to you about with somebody to bring into digital format. I'm getting the final version made in physical down here. Shit is cheap, guys. So,
Yeah, man.
Dude,
get
I
this. I designed a game. I have a friend. We haven't been friends for the past 2 months now. He kind of got a little just really weird. Don't want to get into talking shit, but designed a game together, and eventually I'd like him to, of course, make money from it too. But right now, since I have money, I'm kind of in charge. And when I have the physical version, because I paid $260 to a graphic designer to design a board, chips, sliders, and all the different things that I needed. And the only other thing involved is a backgammon board because what it is an evolution of backgammon, which is like one of the oldest and most successful games. So I would love. I know I'm way off topic, but I would love to talk to
No.
you with you
no,
guys more.
Yeah,
bro,
right
you're
on
not
right on
even
Nothing.
topic, man.
you're not even close to off topic.
Yeah, we love.
Okay,
Video games is a passion of both of us.
I love
I
it.
have I've been playing video games since like the first PlayStation 1, when I got it from my dad, and I've been playing it since. Like I've always had a
Nice.
console or game in my hand. Even as a kid, I was playing like the handheld like Game Boy Color
Game
and
Boy,
stuff like
Game
that.
Boy Color. I had Game Boy Pocket. I
Yep.
had Game Boy, dude. How old are you guys? Sorry,
27.
20, yeah, 27.
dude. I'm gonna be 40.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
started
yeah,
with
I'm 37, pushing 40. So yeah, I played a lot of generation of games. Garrett, as you saw, I sent you the Cosmopoly idea. I wrote that up in a couple hours because I think that gamification is could be really huge in terms of a successful DeFi.
D-
And
Freaking
going
love.
back to your first question, what is crypto for me? Time. It's time. Do you ever watch the movie In Time?
no, I haven't actually.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, Jesus, dudes, guys, smoke a bowl tonight and watch this stuff. It's called In Time with Justin Timberlake,
Okay.
and it's probably one of the most symbolically awesome movies you'll ever watch. It's everybody stops aging at 25. I'm not going to spoil it at all, but everybody stops aging at 25, and on your arm, a clock appears showing you how much time you have left to live, and you work to gain time or you own businesses to gain time.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
it'll blow your fucking mind. And crypto is time because normally I have to work and give my time to somebody else in order to eat shit in a clean place. Excuse me for being crude, but you pay for all of that through your time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what is crypto? It's time. If you spend the time learning how to trade graphs, I'd like to specifically address Cosmos because it's a project that we're in together, if I may. Um, we started at a very high price. We started obviously with these gigantic APRs, and I saw the project about 4 days before it launched. While I watched Panther tanking, so I kind of bailed BNB just around 580, which it capped around 600. So I feel like I did well. Bought back in at 300. And I bought and sold most of the dips on the way down in Cosmos. I know that affected the price for a lot of people. However, I'm probably, if not the largest, I'm the second largest token holder, and I'm not selling. I'm trying to create ways to burn, like a lotto event. So the coins that I make, the coins that I take, my entry price is roughly 80.89 cents, guys. And the coin's hovering under 6 cents. And that's not due to randomness. It's the fact that I studied years of graph analysis and shit. And even though there is a lot of graph information on this, every project tanks. No project stays high. I bought comp at the beginning. It tanked. Bought comp at $180 and went to like $50. Like fuck. So I bought another 20 of those. And then I sold them at 500. It happens time and time again. Sushi. I don't know how long you go back in this, but Litecoin is one, in my opinion, the first rug pull, big
With
rug pull
Charlie.
to really in. Okay, the owner pumps the
Yeah,
price
who was
and
it?
then
Charlie.
sells all of his freaking tokens and buys some back.
I totally
Yeah,
remember that. What was his name? Charlie something, right?
I have no idea, man, but it blew my mind. I was like, okay, wonderful. And now we've got people like Elon Musk doing it. Anyway, I'm way off topic, but in Cosmos, with the gamification, especially the boosts, there's opportunities, guys, to make massive amounts of income. It's crazy. It's the coin is worth a nickel, and it pulled in $995 for me yesterday, which I intend to use to reinvest as I
Wow.
prepare my strategies. That money will come back in to push the price up. That's why I proposed like the mega lotto, because I want Garrett to have more tokens to put in his Mars burn pool,
That's
burn more
awesome.
Venus, because the more power he has, the more he can do. If he gets more power, in other words, time, money, crypto, time, he doesn't have to spend his time working. He doesn't have to go work for somebody else to gain money. Money is time. Time is everything. So the more crypto you have, the less time you need to spend. I would recommend, guys, always, for anybody that listens to this, learn about graphs in crypto, because what happened was really not only due to Elon. He just it just happened kind of coincidentally at the right time. But Bitcoin was gearing up to tank anyway.
Yeah,
It
we
was
were.
looking just the same as 2017. We'd seen its peak. We'd seen it try and reach its peak. It tried for the third time to reach its peak. It failed miserably. So it was clear when we were around $55,000 that we were going to go way down. Whether Elon tweeted or not, he just tweeted because he was selling at that point, in my personal opinion. So I was already selling the second, like probably before the words were out of his mouth, because in my opinion, we had tried to reach the third peak, we had failed, and if Bitcoin is our guide, GTFO. So I went straight into BUSDs.
Nice.
I think that's kind of an important point is if people are trying to get into crypto. Now, first off, just for a lot of people, some people might know if they've seen when I did the video game live stream that I did when I was playing Biomutant, but I'm not a big crypto guy. I don't know a lot of information about any of that stuff. I've never taken the time, like you mentioned a lot of time, I've never taken my time and effort into learning the ins and outs of it to where I'm confident enough to put my money in it and invest. So I think it's really important that you mentioned that. It's not about, you can't just be like, oh, crypto, people are making a lot of money on crypto. Let me go put some money down. And no, you got to do your research. You got to figure out what's going on in the world, and you got to make informed decisions so that you aren't just sending your money down the toilet, or at least put in the money that you're willing to lose. I mean, I'm sure even you know this. Every investor knows, only invest the money that you're willing to lose. You
Sure.
mentioned this about your business going bankrupt, not you. It's kind of the same concept, right? It's like, if you have an investment fund, let that go down, but don't ever let your actual money leave.
I'd say
Only
that's really
invest
good
what you're
advice.
willing to lose.
I'd say that's good. That's a great way to put it. It's a good analogy. You know, it's like it is a business in a way. You're generating revenue with capital. So the idea behind a business is that it generates capital for you eventually without you doing work. Now in crypto, it's similar, though we do need to keep our eyes glued to the screen, sometimes 18 hours a day. So I imagine in gaming too.
Yeah, and it can certainly, you can make it as much of a business as you want, especially when you have things like mining. and you have things like yield farming. It's not just buy some tokens and wait for the price to go up anymore. There's more options. And like you said, and like Matt mentioned, having the business, everybody I talk to that is wealthy or at least, you know, pretty intelligent, they always say start a business. Like when it comes to taxes, start a business, LLC, an S corp. I've never done any of those things, but I wanted to ask you, especially when you're starting multiple businesses, they're always gonna, not always, but generally, you're gonna have failures before you succeed. And I wanted to ask how you limit those failures by maybe like how you said having that tax difference with the business side, and then also you said that you know, you started something similar to Uber, but it just wasn't the right timing. So sometimes you can have a good idea, but the timing isn't there. The market hasn't caught up to your ideas yet. So how do you minimize loss when it comes to starting businesses or even in investments or just in your life in general, like time? Like how do you minimize loss of time? How do you make sure you're minimizing loss and maximizing your gains?
Those are excellent questions. There is no way to limit loss of time, in my opinion, in that day and age. Nowadays, with all the AIs coming out, the bots, Alexas, the this is the that's, everything automated in computer systems, yes. But back in the day, or even nowadays, you still have to sacrifice a lot of time. You build Excel sheets, you build programs, you pay companies like Weeks, which builds websites, but also enables you to bill and track your inventory. There are more and more fairly inexpensive automated systems that can mitigate risk. It again depends on the business structure. If you intend on having a physical location, your risk is going to be much higher. Um, it's about, business in our business is about timing. I think you mentioned that earlier. Timing is everything. If you like, I really don't think right now is a great idea to start a restaurant
Right.
when everybody's supposed to quarantine. Right across from where I live, somebody opened a cantina, and it's mystified me for 2 or 3 months now because it doesn't really do much business. So, I don't know if that really answers your question,
No, yeah.
but
Yeah.
No, I think it did too. Like, yeah, I think it was good enough. Basically, there isn't a real way to limit loss of time, but you can put that time
it's
productive
it's a,
places in different places. Yeah, it's like a
it's about
balancing
making
act.
it's a balance about because I was a timeshare salesperson. I'm in a sense, I'm how do we say this in English? Shit, I'm thinking in Spanish, mal acostumbrado. I am mollycoddled almost, so to speak. I am burnt in the sense that if you don't pay me a certain amount of money, I'm not motivated to get off my ass.
I feel you.
Because in timeshare, I could sell $100,000 to somebody and get paid 8 grand in one day, which is like some serious dough. So look for large opportunities. I mean, even if you have to work hard, work smart, always work hard, work smart, don't give up, persevere. Because believe me, I got laughed at with IVs too. I got yelled at. I got literally kicked out of buildings. Directors coming across like, "Shut the fuck up! I don't give a shit about your proposal." And I'm just asking, "Sir, is there anything I can do?" Because it sat on your desk for 2 weeks. You have to deal with being kicked around because it's just the way the world is.
Yeah.
The people that work in office spaces don't have the ability to think outside of the box. So I'm coming from somewhere outside of the box. They're obviously just going to kick at you because that's the natural reaction of the human being is to scorn what is not understood, to not look stupid, versus taking time to actually research. And I can see this because in 5 years, at first it was really hard to get employees to promote the IV. Now employees beg to get free IVs. And it's because the guests would come back from being back to the beach and they will
Oh,
perseverance pays off. Always share your money when you make money. It's universal. Share your money when you make it because easy come, easy go. And remember, Rome is not built in a day. Neither is a giant crypto portfolio. You gotta lose a bunch of crypto and gain a bunch of crypto before you get a massive amount of crypto. So
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I can see that, like, kind of going back to the timing thing with the IVs. these are just kind of my personal opinions. Like 5-10 years ago, convincing somebody to have someone give you an IV for, you know, electrolytes or for some sort of hydration,
You're laughed at.
people wouldn't have been feeling that at all. Oh, are you a doctor? Are you Now you could I could see everybody doing that just in the span of 5 years later, and I'm pretty sure I've seen them like at
It's
airports and
true.
stuff, like, and then you have oxygen bars. Like, the way the world changes, like, the timing is a huge one. And the other point you made, people will take advantage of you. Like, that's something I've struggled with my whole life. I don't like to ask, oh, you should pay me this much, you should do this, but time is valuable, man. And if you don't assert yourself, if you don't tell them, you know what, I'm walking away, if you don't pay me what I'm worth, you will get taken advantage of. Like, it sucks, but you have to be a strong person. Like, you will get walked on.
Yeah, I like that. One thing I wanted to point out is you mentioned, you know, you come to places with an idea that's out of the box, and you get kind of shunned away or kicked away or just, you know, scoffed at or whatever, because they're just like, yeah, get out of here, you know, because people, like you said, they don't want to step out of that comfort zone. And what's really funny is it takes one person to get that idea from out of the box and jam it into everybody's comfort zone, and then everybody sees it and they're like, oh crap, and then now everyone and their mother is like, oh, we have to do it too, and then boom, you got a big boom of this idea.
Dude, I've had copycats.
Yeah, they're gonna try to copy you 100%.
That's how it works. That's how it works in almost anything. If you look at, like I said, I'm a big gamer, and I've always wanted to create video games since a kid. So I used to just research video games all the time, and I'd be like, yo, where's the pirate game? Where is this game? Where's the battle royales? Where's this? And then someone will finally do it, and then now all of a sudden, a year later, there's just like 7 or 8 games all on that same exact idea. Because someone figured out, hey, this is what we're missing. This is what hasn't been in the public eye yet. Here's a fresh idea. And it takes people so long to accept the risk of doing a brand new idea. But then when someone does it, then everyone and their mother decides, hey, I'm going to do it because
I'm going to do it too.
Same with movies. Exactly. Like, movies are just
movies
rehash
too.
after rehash after rehash because nobody wants to.
Music.
Right.
After Iron Man, we get a new superhero movie every year, sometimes 2 or 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's a safe investment.
What's sad is that they're actually the only really good thing in the movie, right? At least down here, is Marvel. There's nothing good in the movies.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying.
I like Marvel. I like Marvel movies, to be honest. DC is another story, though. It is getting better, but
you couldn't ask me the details of any of the stories, but I know I was highly entertained on IMAX 3D. That I can tell you.
Hell yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of it. If you ask me, you know, who hit who or who killed who, I'm just like, which one's that? But no, the movie itself was fun to watch.
Yeah, it's entertaining. You know, it's a good time.
It is. We need that every once in a while.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the grind can get to anybody.
Yeah. Hopefully they start. You know, I haven't seen really many movies. Obviously with COVID and whatever, but the movie scene has been lacking a little bit, and I've always enjoyed going and watching movies. So hopefully they.
I used to tremendously.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to the theater. Me and my wife used to do it all the time. That was one of our date night things. It was just like, hey, there's a new movie coming out, or this movie looks good, let's go watch it. We just haven't had the chance to do that.
Of course, me neither. We're pretty. We stay home a lot. Stay home, stay safe. You know, we work with guests from out of town, so we have certain responsibility too.
Yep.
And so far, none of us have gotten sick. Thank God. Knock on wood. None of us are vaccinated. None of us have gotten sick, and I don't think we need to. We take vitamin C in our IVs regularly.
Yeah.
So it's like we really don't get colds or. I had a little chest cold last week. My voice went away for a little while, and my throat hurt for about 12 hours, but that was it.
Yeah.
My body threw it off.
Like you mentioned that, like the fact that you're not vaccinated is I kind of like that. A lot of people.
I'm not taking
flock. Yeah, a lot of people flocked instantly to this vaccination despite their age, despite their actual health, and I think it's a little unfortunate, but it's just a product of society not being informed correctly, or not wanting to understand the truth or recognize the truth. Everyone's believing the lies and everything that people are saying. COVID's this big old monster that's just going to ruin the world, but really, it's just a mutation of the cold. You know, it's a mutation of COVID that can actually affect humans and a relatively negative way now because it's evolved or mutated, whatever you want to say.
What scares me about it, of course, as you say, right now it's really only a mutation of the flu. It's a cold.
Yeah.
But what happens when COVID-19 mutates, let's say another 19 times? That's
Yeah.
when it starts to wipe out potentially. So I think there needs to be an in-between point in understanding, especially, people that are vaccinated have no reason to fear people that aren't vaccinated. So in the
Yeah.
States, I see or I hear about a lot of segregation, and it goes to ignorance because if you're vaccinated, I
What
cannot infect you.
right,
You're
what are you
Yeah,
scared
inoculated.
of?
exactly.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
actually that's not even true because these vaccines don't really work. They
Well,
don't
you
stop you from
dude,
getting reinfected.
I know somebody personally that happened to, and they called me because they were freaking the hell out because their kids did not get it. They tested positive. They couldn't leave the country. They're in Mexico. They're holed up in the Ritz-Carlton, and so I took them a bunch of like treatment for COVID just in case, and they wanted like fake tests. I'm like, dude, that's a tree you do not want to bark up. That's federal prison right there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
No,
Oh
no, no,
no.
no. Just because I work with doctors doesn't mean no, I'm here to help you feel better. If
Right.
I play
Yeah.
both sides of the coin, I wind up in jail or I wind up dead.
And
So
like
I sell
Yeah.
I sell the legal ones, the
right.
ones that are doctor approved, FDA approved.
And like
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor or anything, but when it comes to things like the cold, your best bet is vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. Go outside, get exercise, eat healthy, sleep
If
well. Those
if
are
you
your
have an ocean, go to the ocean.
yeah.
There was a scientist around the same time that like Louis Pasteur was not Pasteur. Anyway, one of these scientists, and he was
Yeah, he the
widely adopted for
sorry.
antibiotics. And there was another guy who Béchamp, I think was his name, and he approached the body as prepare the terrain because the virus is most likely already in your body. It's lack of defenses that allow it to manifest because theoretically your body is equipped to handle most of these things anyway. Look at tuberculosis. I mean, we have to go and we have to rest for a while, but it takes care of itself and it encapsulates it and it stays in the lung and that's where it stays and that's that. And unless you severely compromise the immune system, it doesn't come back out. So there's something to be said about not relying as much upon medicine or antivirals. To be relying on good food, good nutrition. Intravenous is, I mean, it's not homeopathic by nature, I wouldn't say, but it's the most complete way to deliver vitamins to the body. There is no better way than an intravenous treatment. For example, when people get vitamin A, they get vitamin B1, B2, B3, B6, B12, vitamin C, a gram and a half of that. They get vitamin D and E, zinc, and biotin. And the electrolytes are things like magnesium, calcium, potassium, sodium, and lactated ringers. So you put a liter of that in somebody's body and you add some carnitine if they're in good health. If their heart's a little weak, you don't add it. But if they're in good health, you add a little carnitine, which is a metabolizing boost agent. You've got a winning cocktail and people feel
Huh.
better. And so I would take mine twice a month. I went almost 4 years without catching a cold, I would say.
That's
Like
awesome.
that was up until last week when I had a sore throat. I didn't take any antibiotics. I took vitamin C and I took an IV with something called transfer factor. We've been learning about different formulas as we want to expand. And transfer factor they're a form of microparticles, and because they're so fine, they go into your body in a specific way that brings your immune system like insanely to the top. So when my sore throat started, I took the treatment, and the next day I woke up 80% better in that sense. I still felt fatigued, tired, but I didn't have a fever. I went out because I needed to buy some shit, and down here they check you for temperature, like with a little thingy at every door. And so I was passing no problem. In other words, it took care of me right away. So I thoroughly believe in preparing the terrain versus necessarily taking the antibiotic.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Pasteur and Dechamp, the terrain and everything. Nobody knows about this stuff. I don't really know
Yeah,
exactly.
nice. So you are aware.
Yeah, nobody knows about this stuff, man. When COVID hit, I just started researching, bro, because nothing they were telling us made sense. And I don't know if I subscribe to terrain theory. I think it absolutely plays a role. You have to keep your body in check. Um, But there's also shit like they've never isolated a virus. They've never, at least the COVID virus, because I know they have I don't know exactly, electromagnetic, the really electromicrons, microscopes and shit, and they'll show you an artist's rendition of a virus. I don't want to go too deep into that stuff, but I just want to recommend people do your freaking research, man, because if you're seeing it on the TV, it's a lie. Like
It's a lie.
straight up, it's a
Just straight up
lie designed to
bullshit.
mess up your life, bro. Like
No, it's designed more than just that. It's every human mind is like a battery, and when it thinks in a certain pattern, it creates its reality around it. So imagine mass manipulation through media,
it's
mass
insane right
battery,
now. I don't know if we've ever
mass
been through
battery.
something
Yeah.
like this, man. Like
Y-
what we're seeing right now with COVID and
This
just
is like 20 or 9/11, just
times 1,000,
amplified.
100. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we didn't do anything about that. We didn't stop 9/11. We didn't stop the drug war. We didn't stop the war on terror. We didn't stop any.
You didn't do shit.
We didn't do anything about anything. And now they convinced us that everybody has the cold, like, and that we had to
I
shut
don't
down the world over the cold. Like,
I don't know where you guys stand in terms of presidents, but I mean, I was not a big fan of Trump when he got elected, but when I got to talking to people in real life experiences. I'm not talking about media. I'm not talking about Facebook. I'm talking about real life experiences, people from Venezuela, Ecuador. Because I was working in a I'm in a tourist area. I meet people from all over. And they said to me it was the nicest and the friendliest process that they'd ever gone through to become a legal citizen. That
Hmm.
his
Interesting.
systems were never about oppression or evil. That he was always about law and order. Because if you're not a legal citizen, you're not paying tax. In other words, you're harming my system, and puts more burden on the legal citizens. So if you want to be here, be a legal citizen and be here. And that makes farmers pay proper taxes too, because they get out of these stupid loopholes of paying Mexicans, $20 a week or a day, when they should be paying them $13 an hour, and we should be paying tax on those wages according to the government too. So it's not like I'm gonna root for any particular side. I think politics is simply there to distract us.
It,
However, the business or the government, excuse me, that Trump was setting up was becoming more and more business-like. And
yeah.
if you run things efficiently like a business, if you give it 8 years, we could have gotten somewhere, I
things,
think,
yeah,
but
things were better.
Yeah, I like that you point that out because Trump was a businessman first, and that was kind of like the big appeal I think, or a big selling point that he was even pushing was, hey, look at all this successful business and successful stuff I've done.
and
I
look at how
can,
I've crashed and come back.
yeah, yeah, and he's like, I think I can. He's like, look, I think I can take these experiences and stuff that I've had, and I can positively affect the United States. And I think for the most part, he did pretty good, at least in my experience. I was in the military at the time, and I know that while I was in the military, I actually graduated my recruit training the day that Trump got inaugurated. So I was
Wow,
in the Marine Corps the whole time that he was in office, and the stuff he did for me in the military actually helped. Like he raised my salary. I was getting paid more.
First time in a
So
long time, right?
a very, very long
wow,
time. Yeah. He not only raised my salary once, but I think he raised it 2 or 3 times while I was in. So in the 4 years I was in the Marine Corps, he raised my salary a couple times. So
that's respect.
I started getting paid more money. Not just that, he started putting more money into the Marine Corps. Now historically, the Air Force gets all the money, then it's the Navy, then
And the Marine
it's
Corps just gets sacked.
Yep, and then it's the Army, and then the Marine Corps is the kings of hand-me-downs. We just because
Yeah,
they're technically a department
and your
of the
front line
Navy.
too, and
Yeah,
your front line, of
Yeah,
course. You're
and
the
they
yeah.
go.
least equipped and your fucking
First
front
to the
line.
fight. Yeah,
Well, you
first to the
got.
fight.
I mean, you gotta have the
It's just
toughest
bullshit.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is he was going in there and he was giving more money to the Marine Corps. He's giving more money to all of the military in general, but he gave like some of the largest portion to the Marine Corps. He gave us a bunch of new equipment, gave us new planes for our air wing and things like that.
Okay.
So
And that
my experience with Trump in the military was actually really good. We also saw gas prices go down with him and things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So I have nothing bad to say about Trump in terms of my experience.
What I would ask, and this is maybe a strong question to ask, is my at least year and a half, my first 2 years of my opinion of him were definitely slanted by the media.
Hmm.
My mind was definitely enslaved enough that I couldn't see through it. And until COVID happened, is when I started realizing that absolutely nothing added up, nothing at all. And I also believe that Trump, even though he printed a bunch of money, he had a plan that could have been deflationary at the same time. And this dude in office is not doesn't I
He's
don't know if he knows 2 plus 2
he's
right
not
now.
even, bro. They faked it.
Man,
They
yeah.
faked his ass in, bro. They cheated us.
So
They cheated every
yes,
American citizen.
I don't know how much we should really get into it, but yeah,
Yeah.
Joe Biden probably has no business being in office. He's like a freaking 80-year-old man with like Alzheimer's and
Yep.
many what's the word?
Bro,
Not
Peculiarities.
yeah, peculiarity stories. I don't know.
racist tendencies,
Yeah,
anti-civil rights actions,
Yeah.
weird
tyranny.
pictures,
Weird
Oh,
pictures
futures.
with maybe
Children.
underage girls that we
Yeah.
could talk about. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it.
We're
but
now banned, bro. We're never getting another view on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to get too much into it, but
Edit.
yeah, but it's crazy, you know, like and I guess now we're finally I had someone say recently last week when I was at work, I heard someone talking about it, how now it's finally for like the first time so far, even though it's been all over the internet that the election was, you know, quote unquote rigged. It's like now it's finally in public eye. People are finally coming out and being like, yeah, this actually happened. It's like, where were you when everybody and their mother was pointing that
They
out? Why
censored
didn't
us,
we?
man. I was
Yeah,
there.
why didn't we hit
They
the nail on the head right at the beginning? Because
they
we could have
deleted.
stopped.
I did, bro. I don't have a big
Technocrats,
audience,
man.
but they deleted all my shit. I've been banned off every social media for
Yeah.
simply telling the truth. I never voted for Trump.
Technocracy.
I've never voted.
Technocracy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad, bro. Like similar experience with Trump. I never voted for the guy. I didn't vote for him the second time. I always vote for Ron Paul because I have to vote my conscience. If I vote for somebody and they get into office and they start doing things that I disagree with, I'm gonna feel responsible for that. So I have to vote for my conscience. I can't just go vote for someone because he's better than the next guy. But same thing with Trump. At the beginning, it was a good show. I was like, this guy's crushing it because I watch every debate. I watch everything. And I'm like, this guy's crushing everybody. He's like he's not gonna legalize drugs. He's not gonna do this or that. But he's destroying Jeb Bush. He's destroying all these deep state freaks.
Exactly.
And you have to premise everything you say. Listen, guys, I didn't vote for Trump, but actually he's doing this, which is good. Don't hate me. Don't censor me off of everything and make it to where I can never get a job again. Dude, Trump was ending the fucking wars in the Middle East. He was gonna end income tax. He was gonna he was like trying to fix prescription drug shit. He was doing everything that progressives want, but was the enemy of all people. But in reality, everyone supported him, man. Like in California, I live in California. Everywhere I go is Trump signs. Yeah. Everywhere I go in California.
Oh, but the state's completely Pelosi favored.
And then what they show you on the TV is the exact opposite. Like, it's bad, man.
I wonder who, if anything, who should, I feel lied to the point that I couldn't view my own legally elected president in the proper light due to their actions, and there should be a lawsuit about that,
bro.
Because that's called mass slander,
Yeah,
and that goes back to a lesson I learned in history for example, with Napoleon, not in Napoleon Wars, with some of the ruling families of England. I'm going to say Rothschild, Rockefeller, one of the old families, right? They had a fairly advanced network of spies, and they came back from the Battle of Waterloo saying that they'd lost. So everybody panic sold. And news came in a few days later that Napoleon had been defeated, that they'd won. So in those few days of panic, this family bought up over half of England because everything was worth nothing.
Oh
so
man.
So this is no different from.
Yep.
It's just a bigger scale each time. It's thousands to one, hundreds to one, then hundreds of thousands to one. Now it's been millions. Who knows what scale is coming next?
Dude.
In the end, that's basically what it is. It's concentration of wealth from to one or to a few, to a select few. And it's also as ugly as that truth is, when you live in a third world country and so everybody is like ultra super ignorant, you almost wonder like why is this person doing what they're doing?
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's just a weird question. So I ask myself, does everybody around here do we need them to be doing what they're doing? They're criminals, they're rapists, they're this, they're that. But who are we to play God? We're not. Who are we to play God? So what can I say?
Yeah, we're gonna get if things don't shape up, we're gonna get that God. We're gonna get a dictator. Like they tried to say it was Trump, but what they're doing in the media, lying to
Yeah.
everybody on every single thing they say is a lie. That is
Oh
gonna
yeah.
we're gonna get the Trump that they said was Trump. Like we're gonna get what they said that Trump
Yeah.
was, if you know what I'm saying. Because
Yes, I
one day
agree. I
somebody's
agree
just
that's what they're doing.
they're just
They're
gonna
doing everything they accused him of.
exactly. Oh yeah, that's like since day one. But somebody's gonna break down the door and say, "Fuck all this. I'm the dictator now, and everyone's gonna do what I say." And everyone is just gonna say, "Okay, thank you," because there's so much lies. Nobody even knows what's going on. We just want to know what's going on. And
One
when
important
I
thing,
don't.
they're gonna tweet about it. Don't forget that.
well, they're gonna ban. Like, check this out. They banned our president from Twitter, and no one did a goddamn thing. Like, yes, they're a private company. No, they're not. They're a CIA organization. All this shit is provable. Twitter,
I shut
Facebook.
down my accounts. I had to reopen them due to social media needs due to this. But I
Yeah,
shut down my accounts when
me
that
too.
happened. I closed them. I
I've
said,
been
"Fuck these people."
yeah, I've been off of all that. But the
Nice.
unfortunate thing is, like, if you're doing businesses, you have to be on social media. But
You're
on a
stuck.
yeah, on a personal level, I same thing I said. I'm out, dude. These people are
Oh
insane.
yeah. Coming back around to cryptocurrency, Theta is a good one to mention because we can still find some quality content there. I think.
Yes, decentralized social media. I don't know why.
And
Like we need money on that. We need money behind decentralized social media.
I think Theta is a good investment and its derivatives and a lot of the videos that you make, I would strongly suggest putting a copy straight there on Theta. You do have a very positive outlook, which is always refreshing. So you could do well there too. And I think it's by upvotes, and that could give you the opportunity to maybe get more Mars and support the project even further.
Yeah,
Yo,
we definitely gotta as content creators, we gotta look into other platforms because just having this
Theta's getting
conversation we
duped.
had, we will get censored. We will get censored. There's an algorithm that just it's gonna know that we said the word COVID. It's gonna know that we said the word Trump, and
Yeah, we should have said CV-19.
yeah,
yeah. Yo, Daniel, I have a question for you because we were
Yo,
talking about, presidents and stuff, and
yo, yo.
something something I like to think. I think there's a few ways that could maybe fix, or at least go towards a direction of fixing our government and how it runs. And I'm kind of interested in your thoughts on it. Is for one, our Senate shouldn't be in there as long as they get to stay in there. I think they should be limited in time. And for two, what do you think of if we finally get a younger president? We finally get someone who's just barely within the age range. What I forget what it is, like 38 or something. I think you have to be United States president, if I remember correctly.
Hey, I
Um,
don't qualify yet for another year.
I think
yeah, yeah.
35, but yeah,
Is it 35?
I
Maybe.
think
I
so.
know it's in the 30s. So like my thought has always been, what if we get a president, anywhere from that range? Like say it's 35, so 35 to 45, someone who's a little more, they're just younger. They got a different outlook on life. They got a different
In,
brain on their shoulder because someone like you, I feel like could, if we find someone that's politically driven but has a brain similar to yours and has ideas kind of similar to how your brain works, I think we could just be better off. And I'm just interested in your opinion in that.
oh, I agree with you in many of the things that you said. First of all, I think power should be given to those that don't want it, people that want it
Yeah,
the least,
I like that. Yep.
and that want to get rid of it as quickly as possible to somebody else.
Yep.
And that way they make the best decisions so that way they don't look like dicks. People that want power already have mental issues that need to be looked at by a psychiatrist. Simply to consider the fact that you want power over others, in my opinion, is weird. Um, Shit, sorry, I'm
No,
getting off
you're good.
track.
You're good.
Um, what was the first thing you asked me? Because I had a reply for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, about if like limiting Senate and then
Ah,
younger president.
thank you. I'm not really qualified to speak much about politics in the Senate because I've lived out of the country so long.
Right.
Politics down here are different. They're equally screwed up, but they're just as corrupt, just not as hidden. Um, I instinctively, as a person, would agree with you that terms should be limited. There shouldn't be somebody 50 fucking years in the Senate. It really
Yeah.
shouldn't. Okay, I understand maybe 10 to 12, half a part of a generation. I can understand that, but not 50 years. At that point, you're outdated, man.
Yeah.
And you're, if anything, you're just going to be at war with the new ideas.
Yeah.
And being at
Right.
war
You're
is
invested in the
not,
old.
you're invested in the old, and new idea isn't necessarily better or worse. It's just a different one. And if you're not open to it, I think errors of communication lead to the biggest flaws of the world,
Mm.
and lack of communication and tone of voice. So if you got somebody coming from one direction, old as fuck, somebody young and full of spitfire and energy, and they start yelling at each other, not going to get anywhere. There needs to be still. Did you guys put in? And the other thing is, in school, did you read the book Animal Farm?
I,
I
I
did not.
Great book. Great book.
Okay, so you know what I mean. When you talk about bringing somebody younger into power, in the book Animal Farm, the animals decide to revolt against the humans, and the pigs, being the most intelligent ones, kind of lead the revolt. But because they realize that by leading the revolt, they could obtain luxuries that only the humans had, they become like the humans. So when we talk about bringing in younger people, more than just age, I I think we should focus on people that don't want the power to begin with.
Yeah. We need honesty, man, and
Howdy.
accountability.
Accountability is the most important virtue, in my opinion, in this planet. Honesty is easy because you've already caught me. I can be honest. I can lie to you or I can be honest. I have a choice. Being accountable is doing the right thing when you're not looking at me.
Yeah.
And I think that the world needs a lot more accountability. We need to hold ourselves accountable to, every piece of trash that we put on the ground or in the garbage bin, or the door that we open or we don't open, or the way we leave the toilet for the next person. Every single little action should be accountable because, I mean, you want to find things nice for yourself. You don't want to find things ugly. And I mean, we're getting way off subject. When people do things that are ugly on the outside, it reflects how ugly they're feeling on the inside. So there's other things that are important, such as meditation, and basically the initial one of your opening statements, which is to get away from that grinding, grueling job that makes you feel like nothing with a shit boss, and give your soul the opportunity to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with all that. I've found meditation about 5, 6, 7 years ago, completely improved my life, man. I used to just have a lot more anxiety. I used to have trouble going to sleep at night just because I had these worries in my head, that
Huh?
I'm inventing shit that I don't need to worry about. Once I started mindfully meditating on purpose, giving myself a time space to do it,
Right?
it transfers into your life. I don't need to sit down and meditate anymore. I can apply the techniques throughout the day when I need to.
Mindfulness,
Right.
daily mindfulness.
That's cool.
Mindfulness. That's if anybody wants to look that up, mindful meditation is,
It's good stuff.
yeah, it's good
I
stuff.
actually, when I got started, I bought a pair of glasses that flash LED patterns,
Oh, nice.
and it actually takes your brain waves into theta and out of or beta alpha. It takes it out of the brain waves that you don't want to be in, the anxiety ones, to reduce cortisol levels. And they have sessions for anything from mood. They're not cheap, but I got them from a guest at the hotel. Mood, meditation, relaxation, energy, sleep. The only problem with the sleep ones is I fucking fall asleep, and then these are expensive. I want to break them on my face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the sleep one really works, dude. It puts you under, man.
Yeah,
So
Yo.
meditation, and if you're if you're struggling, if you ever watch somebody watching this and you're struggling getting started, look up something like LED meditation glasses online. They
LED
probably
med.
have things like this on Amazon that aren't as expensive as what I paid, which was like $400, which I think is way too much. But still, it's an awesome device.
um
Yeah.
go for it.
That brings me to another thing that I thought of a while ago when we were talking about a different thing where you were talking about the IVs and you're mentioning a bunch of kind of like terminology and what you guys like what the benefits of it and stuff. So Did you find yourself doing a bunch of research once you thought of the idea and you tried? Because you mentioned you brought it to your business partner.
That's
Did
why
you?
you have the
Yeah.
that's
Did
why
you?
you have the business partner.
Right.
He
Exactly.
already I had him write for me what he needed, what facts I needed, and I turned it into a salesman's pitch because it's
Okay.
there's a very famous campaign in Goodyear where they wrote all of the statistical analysis of their tire and the reason that why it was fantastic. So they put it up as an ad, right, and it sold nothing. And their next ad was the baby, his famous ad, baby sitting on a tire, and it says, "Because we know what's riding on your tires." It's one of the most successful ads in history.
Yeah.
So
That's really
doctors'
good.
facts to me are worthless unless they're substantiated by me telling you why you want them.
Okay.
So yeah, it required research. It required getting information from different doctors. It required years of experience. Um, Making sure that I'm also factual. I don't want to spout bullshit on my website or incorrect facts. None of this is necessarily. Here's another interesting fact. None of this is necessarily fleshed out by the FDA for its health benefits because it would actually cure things that they can charge you a lot more money for. Not cure necessarily, but make you feel a
Help.
fuckload better and
Yeah.
give your
Help
body the
mitigate.
ability to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because
Help.
your body deals with a lot of things naturally if you just restore it to its optimal state.
Yeah.
I had some plantar's warts on my foot, and they fell off once I was megadosing vitamin C, and I had a really, really high immune system. And then I had the transfer factor to my IV, and about 6 months later, they were dry, and I picked them and they fell off.
Wow.
So
Dude, the human
it's
body.
it's a wide range of stuff. And you guys want a more raunchy, wild story? I had a gentleman. He was 72 years old when he came to my timeshare presentation. Drunk, hungover, just I mean, he was just fucked, man. Poor guy. So he couldn't finish, and I sent him back to his room. And his wife Ruth came back to me. She's like, "How much is it? Can you get the doctor?" I'm like, "It's $160, and doctor should be here within an hour. Let me call." Boom. So we got Eugene passes out. Doctor gets there. Starts. The wife signs the waiver. Like the consent form and all that good jazz. And the IV starts. About 40 minutes later, he wakes up and his eyes are no longer bloodshot. His face is healthy. His pulse is steady. His gaze is clear. He's speaking clearly. He's feeling good, and it's amazing, right? So we feel, oh great, just another good day. So we leave. Next day, I come back to work and he gives me this big hug in the lobby, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm glad you're feeling so good. He's like, dude, what did you give me? Like some vitamins and some hydration and this and that. And he's like, you don't understand, man. I had sex 5 hours last night with my wife. Bro,
Yo,
That's what
yes.
they say
so
about
you
old people, man.
That's
They get
awesome.
down.
72 fucking years old.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm sure his wife is
he
a new subscriber to your
Yeah.
service.
he was happy as shit. And no,
Oh,
I
that's
asked him, like, I'm sure you
awesome.
took something else. He's like, yeah, of course I took my Viagra. But you got to understand, I'm 72 years old. Help.
Right.
And the science behind that is the fact that vitamin B6 enables blood flow. It helps healthy formation of red blood cells, which increases blood count and blood flow.
Oh,
So
yeah, that
it's
makes sense.
naturally it can naturally make you a little hornier. I've experimented with it and it works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That
I
makes sense.
I would also add, scientifically, take it for what it is, but your whole body's connected. So if you're improving on your immune system, it's gonna have a positive effect on your sex drive. If you're improving one aspect of your body, everything is connected. It's gonna help out in general because your body only has so much energy to spend. So if
Correct.
you're improving your heart health, your body's not worried about that shitty heart anymore. It can try to fix your bad liver or whatever else you got going on. So just
Hmm.
general maintenance of your body will seriously help, and vitamins play a big role in that. And I know personally, like a lot of these vitamins are dirt cheap. Vitamin D is not expensive. Vitamin C is not expensive.
It
So
used to be.
yeah,
It used to be. Now with COVID, it's one of my Achilles heels. Back in the day, vitamins, vitamin C, that was so dirt cheap. They went up 700% since
Oh,
COVID,
that makes sense.
approximately.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, always
Yeah.
go get a fresh orange. That's the other thing. Like
Yes.
if you can get your
Eat well.
vitamin in food form, then that's also gonna be awesome because that's what we're used to. But
Oh,
Keep it,
you know,
keep in mind the shortage prices will go back down as things recover. We will see better prices. The other thing I did to stay ahead as a business is I stocked up ahead of time. I
nice.
bought thousands of dollars of supplies just to make sure that I wouldn't be caught with my pants down, so to speak.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I was able to continue working from the second that the government said go back to work.
Nice.
So we got our first call 3 days after the first resort reopened here in Cancun, and we went with masks and gloves and
You
freaking
think
out, but we did it.
yeah, you'd think they would support what you guys are doing, you know? Like
They
but
do.
well,
They do
yeah.
now, much more than before. They
That's
they
good.
used to hate to see us coming. Now it's like, oh great, yes, here come the Hangover team.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Nice.
like to see us.
Yeah, Garrett, that brings you something you mentioned, eating an orange, and then it kind of brings us full circle, Daniel, to the friend you were telling us about. I forget his name. I'm terrible with names. But the one who does a lot of the growing and understands
Frank,
hydroponics and stuff, Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, so yeah, that kind of brings us full circle. Like I have a garden going at my house, and I've now tried the strawberries, some zucchini, and then the banana peppers we have growing, and it's freaking delicious. So
So
you're
much
you're
better.
meant, yeah, it's way better than store-bought stuff, and even when you cook with it, it's amazing. And
Of course,
you mentioned eating oranges. If you can help it, grow your own food. Grow things like that. Grow things that are rich in vitamin C or D
if you can
and
afford
different.
to, do it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. If you can pull it off, and
Sure.
once I think once you get going, you said affording it, and generally it comes down to the price of water and if you can grow it
Depends on
effectively in
what
your
country
area.
too.
Yeah, so it's like if you can do it, man, that's a great option for that, and you'll get way better resources
You
than
Yeah.
get
if you
a
go
lot of
buy it from the store.
if you learn hydroponics with, for example, fish, and you're someone who eats fish, the hydroponics tank is highly productive. It's a little difficult to balance at times.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not an expert in any means, but Frank had one successfully growing basil and lettuce. I mean, and this was stuff was Jurassic level in five
super
days.
cool.
It was
Super.
just like wow, and
My
it's just nuts.
my
So
brother. Oh, sorry.
they no, you go ahead, go ahead. That's basically it.
Oh yeah, my brother-in-law, he loves fish tanks, and he has a bunch of fish tanks. He likes to take care of them. He's got a couple that are freshwater, and he's got saltwater that are completely self-sufficient, so he doesn't really have to clean them or do anything with them because all the fish and
That takes a
everything,
bit of work.
yeah, it's its own ecosystem. So he got it to that point, and what he was doing was he was using the fish. I think it was his freshwater one. He had a freshwater one. He was using the fish to fertilize the plants, so he's growing hydroponically using the fish to provide the nutrients. And
Yes,
his plants grew great, and they were
yes.
awesome.
The plants.
He was growing marijuana with it, and it was like
Uh-huh.
super cool. And I thought it was the coolest freaking thing I've ever seen, man. Like,
It's crazy. You build a little siphon in the middle of your tank,
yeah.
and water kind of fills up. And once it pops a certain level, it raises up like a seal, which starts the siphon and the cycle of the water going back down. So you're sucking the nutrients that back down in as filth, which the plants, I mean, excuse me, the fish eat, and then they poop, which goes back up
And
to
fertilizes the
feed the
plants.
plants,
Yeah.
and it comes back down.
It's so
So
cool.
it's crazy, man. It's really not that much different than what nature does, but just we do it inside artificial environments.
Right.
Yep.
And
And
So
especially with
I,
like supply chains and everything breaking down, like of course hopefully we're seeing recovery now. It's been a year, but
oof,
we saw supply chains go down, we saw prices rise, we saw a bunch of stuff happen from the COVID event, and it's never a better time to become self-sufficient. And having a garden, having medicine available, all these things are big steps in that direction.
yes. It's also a funny time to acquire certain types of items, graphics cards, computers.
yes.
I
I bought a
always, yep.
gaming computer last year. If you buy it now, it's more than quadruple the price. And it's the first time in history, because we are having hyperinflation, that certain items, if you buy them, they're going to retain more value than the money that you bought them with.
Yep.
So that's a whole nother niche of something that we could talk about on another day, because I think we mentioned investments other than crypto. I mean, I'm big about talking about crypto investments. I've got a long trail on that, but there are other things that I think we can invest in that not only, I mean, for example, when you look at a network like Polygon dot, and it's $20, and you maybe say you've got 4 grand to spend. Do you really have the opportunity to get ultra rich off dot? No. So what you need to do is find a micro cap that is useful to dot. For example, Reef or iChain, which is an oracle or a governance protocol, and you find microcaps that go up in value, and that's how you turn smaller money into larger money, because coins that are already expensive, not so worth it. And it's the same thing with buying items, the minerals that are going into batteries, the technology that's being put out. These things are now more than ever before actually becoming investments. Like if you grab some graphics cards and put them in the closet for a year under proper conditions, you'll double your money next year. It's insane.
Yeah.
So don't hoard your cash. Hoard items of value. Bear People ask me, do you think the internet's going to go down when they're asking me about Bitcoin advice? It's kind of one of the funniest questions in the world to me. And it's like, if the internet's going down, dude, you have much bigger problems,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Right. Right.
there's banks failing, there's nuclear plants possibly exploding. If the
It's
internet's down,
Armageddon.
Yeah.
your life is down, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
That means that the power grid is probably down, and you're going to be eaten in the next 36 hours. No, I'm just joking. But
Yeah, unless unless somehow only the internet goes down, right? Like if hypothetically, if only somehow,
censored or
yeah, who
yeah,
knows?
Even still, we're still done for. Like,
Yeah, knowledge gets way more harder to come by. It doesn't become easily accessible. Whereas now, if I want to learn about something, or if I'm unsure how to do something, I go on the internet and I figure it out, and I follow the steps step by step, and I learn a new
yep,
skill. That
yep.
internet's gone. If that internet's gone, that ability to do that goes away, which means now I gotta look for knowledge in the human world or
In
people
the
I know
human
in
world,
around
a
me.
book.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The people around me that
reality.
are able to give me that knowledge. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I would lose one of my favorite hobbies and pastimes, video gaming. Well, not online gaming, I would say. But yeah. Which actually brings me. You mentioned you got a game computer. I'm really interested to hear what kind of video games you play. Like,
here's the thing. I bought it to play video games, and I didn't.
you didn't play.
I, at that time when I bought it, I was playing Dota, like a lot of people
Okay.
were, and I just wanted a non-glitchy Dota so I could play something better than Sniper without my computer glitching, because my old Dell would glitch every 12 seconds.
Yeah, well,
So
that's your
every
first
12
problem. You had a Dell.
Yeah. I was like,
exactly. So I moved away from that, but when I started realizing, as I started getting closer to quitting my job, because I was getting pretty irritated with my job, I started paying more and more attention to crypto. You're not as much familiar with cryptocurrencies, but one really grabbed my attention. It was called SNX, and it it was the weirdest thing I've seen, because according to me, only bankers get to do this shit. So you could go and do what's called staking, which is leave your money in return for percentages to create a liquidity pool. But what they would do is they would match you with something called synthetic US dollars. And each one is worth $1. And you take it into their synthetic exchange, which is like a subspace where you can buy synthetic Bitcoin, synthetic Ripple, synthetic Ether, synthetic BNB, you name it. So instead of buying just Bitcoin, I bought synthetics, which gave me an equal amount of dollars to then buy the amount of Bitcoin or Binance that I would have done originally. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a double spend, and normally a bank is allowed to do that. Now, in my case, if the coin had tanked, it would have been a double loss, because technically this is a form of leverage. It's a very
Okay.
small one.
yeah, I
It's a
was gonna
2x
say, like,
leverage.
you must be getting leverage or something, like, to do that.
It's a 2x. It's 2x leverage. It's not a big one that where if it goes down, it's going to bankrupt you. But it is a way of double spending your money because you're getting your SNXs that are staked are went up in value. I grabbed them at about $1 and I sold them about $20. I had a
Nice.
few thousand. And everything that I had bought in synthetic space. Now here was the catch for me. When I first started synthetics, Ethereum fees were $3, and it seemed fucking outrageous to me at that time. I was already bitching back then, and I saw this coming. And when it came time for me to cash my shit out, I had like $10 sitting there expecting to cash out my SNX and my trades. All of a sudden, my trades were $177. So it was worth it because I had a lot of money coming out. But imagine what it's like to the small guy. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So I had to go to my bank account and send about $600 into my in through Binance into my MetaMask of Ethereum to pay for this crap. I was able to pay myself right back because I made way more than that. But my point is that was my first experience about doing a double dip on your money, and that's what led me into Binance because I found PancakeSwap, and well, PancakeSwap is amazing. It's
Man,
just amazing.
it always it kind of amazes me. Like I said, since I'm not a big Bitcoin guy or I'm not in that stock market brain flow, I guess it always kind of amazes me. Like when I hear people like you or like Garrett talking about it, because that's crazy. That's just like that seems so difficult to me, personally. Like my brain, I would get overwhelmed. I would be like, I don't know, man. This would sketch me out. I would be so scared to invest my money, and that's probably why I haven't done it. I'm
It
like a
was
scared
scary.
investor. I'm a scared investor. I'm so scared to invest any bit of my money because I don't want to lose it.
It was terrifying. It was scary as shit. But um,
That's what sets you
here
apart from me, though. You know what I mean? You're the
here's
one.
a tip. Here's a really good tip to somebody that feels your way. I have a really close friend. He kind of fell off the map a few years ago because he became a designer and he made something for Oracle Systems that went into like the Hyatts worldwide. So he made millions. And he's set. He's 31 and he will never have to work again in his life. Um, I was like, dude, I'm obviously not as set as you are, but shit, if I'm pulling in over $1,000 a day, you should be putting some of your money into this stuff. And I'm not doing it with that much money. I don't have that much money right now in Mars. I have like $15,000 there. To make $1,000 a day is insane. Um, so start with a small amount that you're comfortable that you could lose, even if it's $500. Because if you start with 100, it's too small to produce anything worthy. Start with a $500 investment, double it, pull $500 out and start over. Now
Okay.
you're playing on house money. Your investment is safe.
Yep.
You could then you'd be facing emotions. The next step is if the coin goes higher after you sold it to get your money back, you're going to kick yourself right away for having sold it.
Right.
You have to learn to master those emotions. The mastery of your emotions is what leads to a successful trading experience because I mean, it's gut wrenching to watch your money disappear when a coin goes down.
Yeah,
It's like you got ice in your veins.
I
I
could
got
see
hacked.
that. Yeah.
I got hacked. My MetaMask got penetrated because I left a copy of my seed phrase on a disk a few years ago, and it got hacked for $45,000. And they were trying to take the rest of my money, but the fact that I had it tied up in staking pools in ways that they couldn't unstake it fast enough that I was able to lock up my MetaMask again, um, they would have taken like $130,000 from me, everything that I had worked for, and I made that all that money from $3,000 just
Wow.
from trading. So it's as much of a job as any others. And the other thing is, it's easy to make money in a bull market. It's really hard to survive and stay positive in a bear market. So if if any message I want to get out to people about this particular era of crypto is we're seeing a massively manipulated market. First of all, it's well manipulated beyond belief. And when it's red, it's time to buy. And patience is always is key. Because when it's red, when everybody's afraid is when you should become greedy. And when everybody's really, really greedy is when you should become really, really afraid.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
that one, and that very rarely will lead you wrong. That's Warren Buffett
Yep.
right there. That's him, classic, classic, classic. And yeah, Just bring in money that you're comfortable potentially losing. Get into coins that you do your research on, or you talk to your friends, coins that they believe in, ones that you know will consistently. For example, let's say you put $500 in Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin isn't going to go from 30,000 to 60 overnight, but it might go to 45. So you take that profit right away and you put it back in your pocket. So now you only have to pay yourself X amount back. So
Mm-hmm.
there's ways to get yourself cleverly into the market around those. I'm not going to say your personal fears because I wouldn't want to criticize them in any way, but get around that initial emotional barrier.
Right.
Everybody has the right to do what they feel with they should with their money. Now back to my friend who made all that cash. It's been nearly impossible to get him to try this, even though I show him the facts.
Yeah.
And
Even though
it
he's got the money probably to
Oh, dude,
invest.
I mean,
Yeah.
he could make so much money. It's insane. But he could lose so much money. It's insane.
Yeah.
So this is always this is a good strategy to enter, and it's one that I'm pitching to him, and I think he's considering it for about $5,000. For him, $5,000 is like buying a pack of cigarettes,
Right.
basically.
That's
And
awesome. Good
if
for
we
him.
can get him, he said, if we can get my $5,000 back within 3 to 6 months, I'll start paying closer attention. I'm take my investment back because that's good advice, and grow from there. Because as long as you can start again from ground zero with house money, it's never your money to begin with. Don't become emotionally attached. Was never yours. It was given to you because you made the right choice of buying a coin that went up at the right time. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah, I would
So
I think that's all excellent advice. I would second it. And I would add to people who aren't invested in anything, not just crypto, but in anything. And I think that's most people. Most people have a job, they get their pay, and they put it in a savings account. If you're one of those people, my advice would be, and you feel that there's risk involved with the stock market, risk involved with cryptocurrency, etc. Well, there is risk involved with that, but you're actually at more risk by just putting all your money into a savings account. There's an incredible amount of risk there. One, you see what they're doing with the US dollar. You see what they're doing
yes,
you see what they're doing with all central bank currencies. It's not a good look. Regardless, now you also have your money in a bank. The bank at any day can say, "Hey, guess what? You don't have your money anymore. It's mine." So, and beyond that, all your money is in one asset. It wouldn't matter if it was gold, Bitcoin, Apple stock. Most people are putting their money. They get paid in the U.S. dollar. Speaking to Americans, and then they go put it in their savings account, and they think, okay, I'm good to go. That now I'm not taking any risks. Actually, if you would have took, let's say you got $100 paycheck, if you would have took 10% of that and bought Bitcoin, 10% put it in your savings account, 10% bought some stocks, 10% bought some gold, 10% bought a graphics card, 10% bought ammo, a gun, you decide you're way safer. You're so much safer, and you're investing. You're investing and you're safer than you ever were just putting your money straight into the bank account. Everyone has to decide for themselves what they're going to do, but just taking your wage and putting it into a savings account isn't the safest thing you can do.
as a matter of fact, I think there could almost be a course for people that are earning minimum wage that they could break out of that rat race within 2 years
That's
of
exact.
thorough investing into yield farming. And it's something I'd love to create. I don't have numbers on it, but it's something that I would love people to teach people to do, because I taught myself to do that, to live my life at the level or a better level than I was before without my job, which is like ridiculously sounds like a scam to everybody,
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I'm getting at too.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work. You're gonna have to work your
It is.
job, and then you're gonna have to work to get
Out
out of
all
that
night at
to get
this.
yeah, to get out of that job. And it does work. A lot of people are gonna fail, like I chose to invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, these things, they did well. You might have chose to invest in some things that didn't do well. But that's where the research comes into play, and that's where, make sure you have your investing principles. You quoted Warren Buffett. There's a lot of people who have vast amounts of knowledge that you can get before you enter something like this. But again, there's different levels of risk, and no matter what you get into, it's better than nothing.
Talking about crypto adoption, I'd like to mention XRP because it is definitely a bank oriented coin. Um, have you done any research into it, or how
Just
deeply have you gone?
yeah, I know about XRP just because it's been a crypto for at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I've known about it since I've known about it for 5, 6, 7 years. I've never invested just because
Okay.
the reason I got into crypto was for freedom, and like you said, it's a bank coin. I don't have anything against that. Obviously, Binance is pretty centralized. It's inevitability, right? Like banks are gonna come up with their own coins. Governments are gonna come up with their own coins. We can't stop this. I don't know enough about XRP to like trash talk it. I don't know if it's. I think a lot of people make a lot of money. I think it's not a bad investment. I think if you got into XRP, you wouldn't be mad about it. Personally, I don't know if it's for me, but um, I definitely know about XRP for sure.
One thing or a few things that I want to point out about it. Um, First of all, is the FUD that has been spun around it for years.
Right.
The
I might
most
be totally
common.
wrong with what I said. So
Well, no, you're right and wrong. Not wrong, wrong, but there are facts that are misrepresented to you. So that doesn't make you wrong. It makes you maybe misled about what other people are saying on the internet. There's a fellow, I believe, is Jed McCallum. He owns actually XLM, which is the number one competitor towards XRP. Now, XRP pre-mined and put everything into smart contracts, which people then, or FUD and lies were spread to believe that XRP could release the money anytime they wanted to control the price. This is not true. What has been controlling the price is the fact that 40% of the coin was bought by the competitor, Jed McCaleb, or whatever his last name is, Jed, and he percentually sells it to keep the price depressed so his coin has a chance against it. So this wallet that he has that he's been selling for 6 years ends in August. Just want to put it out there for what could happen because of all the coins that we are familiar with, which is the one that has not had its bull run of all the top coins. ADA was 5 cents before this bull run. Bitcoin was 8 grand. Ethereum was $290. BNB was $36. So take a look at what Ripple's done. It was 25 cents and now it's a dollar. It's 85 cents. And consider the fact that it very might well win the lawsuit with the SEC, or at least come to a draw. Even if it loses, it's in its own benefit because then they pay the fine and they have to get regulated. Who cares who wins or loses? The real reason behind the fact that XRP is depressed is the fact that a competitor is selling off the coin to keep the price down. So just keep that in mind when you take a look at XRP. And when the reason I bring this story up is nothing is what it seems. It's so hard to figure out what things actually are. And that's been one of the themes that we've had about misinformation throughout social media. So many things are not what they seem. It wasn't until somebody made me aware of this wallet by the owner of XLM, and I went and I looked at it and I observed its behavior to see that it was percentually selling. Every time that XRP was spiking, it was selling. Or it was just like by date, selling, selling, selling. And I'm like, holy shit, this is pure manipulation. This is conspiracy, dude.
that's the beautiful thing about what you're saying is, and the beautiful thing about the blockchain and all these different cryptocurrencies is, you have the ability to go watch that wallet and see what it's doing. You can see every transaction it ever makes. You don't
Yep.
have to rely upon what I say. You don't have to rely upon what anybody says. It's verifiable. That's the
Yep.
beauty. That's the beauty in all this. Usually it's like some banker telling you what's gonna happen. Now we can check it. You can check it. So that accountability is provided.
Agreed. It's funny that Bitcoin and blockchain was trashed as for that it's being its number one flaw when actually it's its biggest advantage. Everybody's like, "Oh, Bitcoin is for thieves because nobody knows where it goes."
All right.
Well, people know exactly where it goes.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you didn't buy anything illegal because they know for the rest of time now.
Exactly who and where and
Yeah.
what time you bought it.
Yeah, and then the technology to mine this data. See, that's okay. That's a thing that I am looking at is marketing. Like, it's basically if you're a marketing firm, how are you not writing algorithms to scan blockchains and see what people are buying, when they're buying it, find patterns, and sell them products? Like, that's just an enormous amount of gold right there. To it's the same reason why they want to watch our browser history so they can see what we do and they can sell us shit. That's what these wallets are. You're directly seeing people's financial transactions. So much money to be made in that in marketing and other areas of the economy.
Because MetaMask lets everybody know the sites that you go to and the transactions.
Oh, really? I,
Yeah,
I,
no, it violates your privacy just as much as any well, not just as much, but it violates the shit out of your privacy in terms of your crypto finances.
damn.
It shows websites that you go to, transactions that you made. It records a lot of information that people don't always realize.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why the system is always gonna you're always gonna be part of the system, but just learn how to work it better in the end is what's really important. Back up your keys.
Yeah, you definitely got to, like you said, you got somebody found some of your keys and it's all bad from there. There's not much you can do besides be faster than them. If somebody gets your keys, you better hope you find out before they've already stolen all your money.
You a question you had earlier, what kind of gaming laptop? I never really wrapped up. I started with the gaming laptop because I thought I was in a game. I played Dota, I played Dying Light.
Mm.
Um,
New
the
Dying Light
graphics
coming
were
out, by the way.
was great videos, really great graphics. And from there it just became crypto. And I started learning some C sharp and some other stuff that the computer could do. But no, I'm mainly just focused on trading. I bought because I did so well last year in the early part of this year in crypto. I bought a whole bunch of shit, like a big fat TV, an Xbox S, an
Nice.
X, excuse me. And I'm more lazy. I like to sit with a game controller.
Yeah.
I'm turning into that as well.
So I
Dude,
like my online gaming. I like Halo. I
Oh, I
think
love Halo.
I love. I'm wait. Can't wait for the new Halo to come out. I'm a big
That'd
Halo
be
5
great.
fan, all the way from the beginning, through everything from Halo to Halo 2, all the way.
Yes,
So
sir.
crazy, like everything about it. Gears of War, but mainly Halo and Battlefield. They're gonna come out with like a new 130 player battle royale.
ooh,
I want
yeah.
to check what that's all
Yeah.
about because that they're gonna get really in depth. Like we could all be on a tank together and the tank would behave like in a battle. And so that shit's really cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. What
That,
kind of games do you play?
um, well, I play pretty much any and everything. First off, I love that you said Halo. Halo was my first love, man. Like I remember the first time I ever played Halo was at the neighbor's house across the street when I was like I don't know, like 8 years old, 9 years old, whatever it was, Halo 1. I remember playing it and I fell in love, and then Halo 2, 3, I was playing them all until like Halo Reach, because Halo Reach was the last of Bungie, and then 343 took over, and I wasn't a big fan of what 343 did. Uh,
Okay.
but
They did a good job on Halo 5 though, dude.
Yeah, yeah, I heard. I kind of stopped playing it because I went to PC, and so I'm really excited for Halo Infinite because that's going to be on PC, so I get to experience Halo again. And then from what I seen, they're
Yeah,
going back to the roots. But yeah, I grew up on playing a lot of the games you just said. Like I played Halo, I played like Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2, I played Gears of War. You know,
right.
I played a lot of those. But nowadays, I play pretty much strictly PC, and unless I'm just trying to look for a single player experience, I play mostly multiplayer games. So like Valorant, the Call of Duty Warzone, so that BR that Call of
Okay.
Duty has, and then like League of Legends. So I never played Dota, but I was a big League of Legends guy, and I played that for many years. Because
Cool.
I didn't like Dota. It was too complicated for me. I felt weird and clunky when I played it, so I played League instead, and then yeah, so I literally play any and everything, man. Like I said, I'm big passion for video games. I want to create them. I have like a really good outlook on what is consumer friendly, consumer happy, and what's going to make them happy. So I've always tried to use my brain and stress it in that way. I've always been thinking about it. So
Okay.
I play any and everything, man, and I never shy away from video games or trying something new. So I don't have a perfect answer for you for that, but that's pretty much how it
Cool. That's
goes.
an answer. Hey, a game is a game. Any type is good.
Yeah, which is also why I would love you mentioned the game idea that you're working on or whatever. I would love to see what you have, or if you send it over to
Sure.
Garrett or me, I'd love to see it and even just give my feedback like, hey, here's some ideas, or maybe you can improve it, or I'm totally down
Sure.
with it. I love doing that stuff, and that's just where my brain works and has its most.
Perfect. 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 The game itself, pretty fun. It's been tested on like 6 or 7 people. Everybody's been engaged by it.
Awesome.
My only concern is by bringing it to not the PC, which is actually where the biggest backgammon playing
Occurs.
biggest percentage of people are playing is
Hmm.
on a PC, is the time that the game would last. That's my only concern is that I don't want the games to last 40 minutes.
Right.
So things have to have timing. Things need to last less than 15 minutes because you have to take into account internet connections, people's lives, etc. Other than that, I think the game is fairly well polished. I mean, it's still in a rough draft, but you'll get the idea. Basically, it's backgammon with a different set of rules, much better rules for the chips, and a whole set of stuff added on top. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna be probably in the next hour or so calling my graphic designer and having her give me the renders so that way it can be printed up into a physical edition because that's where I
That's
want to start.
yeah, that's
And
super awesome.
I've been active on Kickstarter, just giving, $50 here, $20 there, give before you get. And then I'd like to bring it up to Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's really. I like that you mentioned that you want to put it in a physical form, especially when you're creating a board game spin-off, I guess you could say. It's really important. Put it into physical form first, test it out in person with people, see how it plays, then decide how you take
Modify.
those, yeah, how you take those experiences and make them more oriented towards your target, which is online, right? So you go, okay, so this feels really good to play in person. Might not feel good online. Might this feels bad in person, but it might work well online. So there's like,
That's what I've been doing. Some of the things feel bad in person, um, but they work online because
right,
the turn gets broken down into phases. You can cast spells and stuff,
Oh,
but
cool.
you're not allowed to cast them when your opponent is moving his chips because if you were allowed to do that, that just makes the game super unfair. Like you see your guy moving his hand to pick up his chip and you cast a spell. No, no, no. You have to cast a spell before or after your opponent moves. Now these things in physical are kind of clunky because you have to move a slider like down a bar to show what phase you're in. On a phone, it would just move automatically phase to
right.
phase, 15 seconds every phase. You make your choice. So each turn is at a most 1 minute
Okay.
because
Yeah,
you have your setup, you have your spell phase, you have your play your dice, and then you have another opportunity to cast a spell.
s-
So you put these together. So a lot of what I did was, make it physical, workable in a physical version, but it's going to get so much better when I have an automated digital version that allows everything to just go boom, boom, boom.
yeah.
And we went with a Mesopotamian theme, but that's just to start with. It can be adopted to any kind of theme that we want. Mesopotamia is kind of like the Mecca, the home where it was first played. But anyway, I'd be excited to share more of it with you
Yeah.
as I get more of the physical version complete.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be so excited. Even if there's like a way for me to play test it in some way, I would love to give feedback when it
Yeah.
gets to that point, if it gets to that point.
I love that.
How
And
many?
dude, if you know 3D coding, I'd love to work with you more. I'd love
So
to spend some more time on ideas. It seems like
I
everybody here has value to the project.
so I don't know much coding myself. Like I said, my like the work that me and Garrett have done on other ideas in video games, we have a small team, about four of us that kind of try and brainstorm and work on different ideas. I'm not a coder, so but one thing I
Okay.
do bring is, like I said, is my brain. The way my brain works is I have a good outlook on consumer
Flow,
satisfaction and
ergonomics.
yeah, and how a game should flow and work, like you're saying. And I'm really good at saying, like seeing the idea and being able to brainstorm or at least bring up the topics like, hey, here's what's really bad about the idea. Here's what's really good. Here's the things that could or could not work. What can we do to mitigate these issues? And what can we do to make it more fun for the player? So
That's
I'm
super.
almost, what would I be, like a QR or like an HR type person for the
Okay.
game? Might be like where my brain is
Oh,
best suited.
everything a game needs is somebody to I don't want to say nitpick it, but somebody to pick it apart. And in a
Right.
sense, by you analyzing the different strategies, we're not going to call you. We're not going to say you're nitpicking at it.
So it's like a
You're
game
picking it
tester.
apart because like for example, in the game, I had included a hero with a specific power, and in the second game, I created infinite turns. Unfortunately, because I'm the kind of brain that takes a game and pushes it to its limits. I try
Try
and
and
break it.
try and break it. Try and
I
break
try
it
and
and see
break
how it
it, and I
works.
break
Yeah.
it as hard as I possibly can. That's why I like
Smart.
Magic
And
and
Cosmos.
Cosmos. Dude, I've been breaking Cosmos. I was a chess player, a champion chess player in my teen
Oh,
years.
nice,
Whoa.
dude.
I beat a couple chess masters.
Yo,
Nice, dude.
speaking of which, a game that we were brainstorming working on, that's why I kind of liked your bad gaming idea, is because we were actually taking chess and doing kind of what you did. We were turning it on its head and adding new and flavorful ways to play
Oh,
chess. And
awesome.
we actually have a really we had the whole baseline set up, I guess you could say, like where we had it all on paper or in an idea
Okay.
on a spreadsheet of like, hey, here's how we want it to work, here's how we want it to flow, and we were starting to create, units, leaders, powers, different things because we were trying to do kind of what you're doing. It sounds like adding spells and different ways to spice up chess, to just
I did
turn
that.
it.
I added a spell book and a hero set. I was a big fan of Magic, but I kept it simple.
I
Instead of
like Magic.
having a stack, it's whoever's turn it is has priority for spells. With very few exception, there are some interrupt spells. There are counter spells. There are silences that stop you from doing certain things.
There's a
So,
game. There's a game that you need to play, okay? And I don't know
okay,
if you've played it. You like Magic the Gathering. I used to play the crap out of Magic the Gathering. I
Hearthstone.
no, Hearthstone is it's kind of garbage. But Magic is great because I used to collect the crap out of it. I still probably have around $500 worth of cards that I could go trade in, probably because I just have
I
the rare
sold the rest
cards.
of my cards to buy Pancake Swap, dude.
Dude, I was thinking about selling my cards to get more money and do something with it too. But play
I did
Legends
it.
of play Legends of Runeterra. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, yes. Never
Legends
seen
of Runeterra.
anything about it.
It's free to play. The system in which you unlock cards is super forgiving. I mean, not unforgiving, but forgiving. It's got a great model for that. Play it, dude, because
I'm
it's
just writing
it's
it down to have it saved.
yeah, nice. Yeah, because it's like Magic the Gathering, but the way that they handled the turn system and how the combat plays out is one of the best ways I've seen in any card game. It's a very reactionary card game. And in fact, I was adopting kind of in our chess idea, I was trying to adopt their strategy of back and forth play because it's very interactive. You never feel like in Magic sometimes you're sitting there and you're just waiting, and you're just like, man, their turn's taking a while. They're doing a lot of
Right.
stuff. But in Legends of Runeterra, it's like they do something and then you have a chance to react, and then they have a chance to react, and then blah 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 blah, and it keeps going back and forth until the turn, until
I
each
get that.
player, passes without doing a single thing, and then the
And
turn
it's
resets.
fast. It's
Yeah,
fast.
and
So
it feels there's no downtime. It feels like you're consistently playing, which is
okay.
really
In this
important.
game, you have three classes of spells, basically, which are my turn, MTs, opponent's turn, OTs, and ATs, any turns.
Okay.
However, if it's my turn, I have priority. So you can cast in response to what I cast during casting, but mine's going to happen first because it's my turn.
Okay.
Unless you're casting a spell, there are a few spells that are interrupt cast that are so fast, like you silence me, like stunts, and I can no longer cast a spell. And magic is silenced for that turn.
Right.
Another one would be dispel, and that's basically the most powerful spell in the game because it removes all magic on the board. Now, when you're playing the game, we use the rules between AC Ducey and backgammon. AC Ducey has powered rolls on the dice. So we took some of the power from that and reduced it a little bit to give the power to the deck of cards, so that way they work together. So you get these powerful dice rolls that go in combination with your deck, and you have a hero that you can build up to get more rolls. That's the only thing it does, is give you the ability to roll again. So that at times can be beneficial or not, because when you're playing this particular backgammon, you don't have your pieces preset. You have to get on the board first. You bear on and you bear off. So I could build a wall 6 deep and you ain't getting through. So you aren't going to want to be doubling your dudes. You're going to be, so there's the strategy takes the backgammon times a million, dude.
And
Just times a fucking million.
Sounds
So
interesting.
as soon as I have a little more of the project finished and I'm working on it, I'd love to meet a team of people that are developing games.
I
Yeah,
I
man.
really I really want to now talk to you about our idea when another time or whenever we can get a chance. I'd
Cool.
love to just like literally throw the information from our idea because it's similar to what you're doing. And
I'd
you saying you're
brainstorm
a
it
big
for sure.
yeah. Plus, you said you're a big chess player. Like you would love to see what
Yes.
our
Oh
ideas
yeah.
for it. I guarantee
I'd
it.
love to see an evolution like that, dude.
One of
It
the
would excite
guys
me.
one of the guys on our team who handles mostly music, or yeah, that's like it's this big forte. He likes doing music and creating soundtracks and things like that. He's really good at it. He is a huge chess player. So a lot of times when we were coming up with ideas and we were like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" He was a big end all, be all for the idea because he'd be like, "Well, I've played a lot of chess and I understand how this if it really works as an alternative or an
See,
add-on to it."
here's the thing about chess is perfectly balanced without anything added to it, and
Exactly.
it is the only game that I know of. The only disadvantage in the game is being black versus white, and that just depends on your level of
Minuscule.
skill of minuscule.
Minuscule.
So if you make your opponent take one erroneous move, in other words, have to move a piece back, now you're in the lead as black, and
Yep.
the flow changes. The
Yeah.
reason I went with backgammon is because it has the randomness of dice, and you have to learn to deal with what you get.
Yeah. And
So,
funny you mentioned that. We actually were adding dice into the equation for chess.
okay,
Dice and cards were
okay,
going to be added.
cool.
Also, the pieces themselves were going to be completely changed in a way to where you're more or less building an army. Also, it's like an army builder strategy. So different units you're putting on the board to replace your pawns. Like you have all
Dude,
your pawns, and then you can choose like this type of pawn that's going to adjust your strategy.
there's a version of chess that's called Taxi. It's a four-player version. Let's say you guys are a team and somebody's sitting on my right. Um, each of you, one of you is black and one of you is white. And I would say if I'm playing against white, I'll be black and vice versa, right?
Hmm.
So while I'm playing against one of you and I take one of your pieces, I can give it to my teammate and he can put it on the board.
Oh, cool.
And it's called Taxi Chess, and it's a four-player version of chess. It might forward what you're doing already right there in terms of building an army, which could be, if you wanted a card that might be like, steal a piece that's on a black square from your opponent and give it to your teammate and then penalize them too, like this costs you one turn, or I don't know, but you
Yeah.
get to literally fucking rape a piece from the opponent's army
That's so
onto your friend's board, and the opponent could have a card that could stop you. Maybe I don't know which way you guys are going, but I went to very fairly elemental, and I used a lot of the elements of blue from Magic the Gathering to have control. Um, and basically, to speed the game along is what I wanted, is what everything is supposed to do, is to speed everything up to make it a non-slow game. So yeah,
right.
I'd love to brainstorm with you. At this
Yeah.
point, I gotta run because I promised I was going to take my mom some lunch, and I bet she's like super hungry at this point. She lives a couple
Yeah.
blocks away.
No,
She
it's
went to
okay, man. We've been at this for a while now. I don't
this
think
is awesome.
Yeah,
I don't think we
awesome.
really expected it to go around 2 hours. So
No,
um
me either. But no, this is great. I'd love to do this anytime and chat more with you about your ideas and what you guys are doing.
yeah,
Because
100%.
I've been
Totally.
looking for I've been wanting to meet a team of people talented and dedicated doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get Matt to get a Telegram, and then we can all like. Obviously, we all have Discord, so it doesn't really matter. But Matt, we'll have to get you a Telegram as well, and we'll build like a group chat, and we can all just kind of discuss future podcasts, future game ideas. And
Yeah,
if you ever do pick up the gaming again, me and Matt play games almost daily, so
Cool, man.
yeah,
yeah, man. I honestly, I think you're a really cool guy. I've really enjoyed the time that you've spent with us, and I
Same
actually,
here.
I loved like picking your brain and hearing your opinions on a lot of things. You're a very successful person, and I think it's
Thank
really
you.
important for people to surround themselves with other successful people and learn from them.
yep,
And
Yes.
and to hear that you're doing things like creating video games and stepping outside of that into those types of markets, it's awesome, man. Like-minded people, and I really, really enjoyed you on here, and I thank you so much.
same here,
No,
man.
thank you for having me here. It's been just great chatting with you guys and meeting you too. And well, thank you for the compliments. I've tried hard in my life, and my goal is to share what I've learned so that others can do better too. I have what I need, I have what I want, and I want others to be able to say that too, not just be. There's a saying which I was told when I was starting in sales. It's lonely at the top. You know what, motherfuckers? The only reason it's lonely at the top is because you stepped on everybody to get
Because
there.
you're not sharing in your
You're not
success.
sharing. So put everybody at the fucking top. It ain't so lonely. It's a big ass party. So I'm
I
glad to
love
share these thoughts with you.
Yeah, I love that you say
Awesome.
that because I've always told myself that if I ever made it, if I became a millionaire, if I became very successful, it's not just me, it's those closest to me too. If I became a
That's
millionaire, Garrett's technically a millionaire. My buddy Skylar, the people that I find closest to me, I'm like, hey, I'm spreading the wealth and I want to help
yes,
them be successful too. And I
yes,
think that's
exactly.
important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing with a lot of my friends, teaching them because they now they want to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they lose a lot of money, so I usually have to send them a bunch of money that I harvest and I help them out. But they
Awesome.
learn.
Yeah.
So, but no, good meeting you guys. I look forward to our next chat. I
Yeah,
look
man.
Yeah.
forward to I look forward
I
to getting together my data on my game because I honestly I haven't looked at it in like a month. I've been very busy. I've been focused on Cosmos. What I wrote up yesterday, the Cosmopoly idea, I did that in about 2 hours. And I don't know, did you like it? I think it could be pretty cool to stimulate the economy.
Yeah, I think anything like that helps, especially with Cosmos, because they're trying to do the gamify aspect, and to just learn that about you is awesome, man. Like it seems like the spirit that we have for creating businesses and running our own lives, it transfers
It's
over to the video games, and it transfers to everything. It's just kind of a
yeah,
creative
it's
mindset.
amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm enthralled. I'm so pleased to have met like-minded people
same.
because I wasn't meeting them physically around me. But in this day and age, that doesn't matter. We meet here, we work together here, we create or whatever, and live a good life.
Yeah.
Dude,
Before you go, real quick, I want to just say a couple things, which is
Sure,
I sent you a friend request on Discord.
I
So I
got
don't
you.
know if sweet. So, yeah, anytime we can talk or you want to hang out and talk about those kind of things, if I'm available, I'm totally down. Second thing you mentioned, you said was it your girlfriend or your wife? I'm sorry about the hand or
Girlfriend.
the girlfriend. Okay. Yeah. So check out front site. It's where I work. It's it's spelled just like the front sight. Oh, I think I spelled that wrong. Front sight of a gun. I don't know. My English
should be
spelling isn't the best.
SIGHT, right?
Yeah, I think it's SIGHT also. Check it
Yeah,
out. The main thing that we do here is it's defensive handgun or defensive training with a weapon. So you learn things about how to come out of the holster safely, how to manipulate the gun safely. If you get malfunctions, how to clear them, how to shoot accurately, and the proper fundamentals, and then things like the mindset you have to be in to recognize threats and to also what you have to know if you are ever forced to engage those threats.
it's
So
fantastic. I come take the course with her.
Yeah, you can.
Dude.
Yeah, so there's different forms of memberships that you can apply for, from on the lower end and then on the more expensive end, and then depending on what membership you get, gives you access to things like private lessons and things like that. But when you have a membership, you can bring guests. So if just you get a membership, you're more than welcome to bring your girlfriend out, and they do it year round. It's 4-day classes or 2-day, whichever you prefer. Um,
Nice.
and it's 100% worth it. I would not be working here if I didn't believe in what they were,
No, I think
what
it's
kind of
essential.
stuff they're putting
I
out
think it's
there.
an essential skill that people need to have, apart
Yeah.
from growing food. And because in this day and age, when shit hits the fan, whoever holds the gun holds the power.
Yep.
It's the end of at the end of the day. No matter how well you know how to self-defend, whoever has the bullets has the power. So the proper handling and respect of weaponry, you always have to have respect for whatever you're doing, no matter
Yes.
what you're doing.
Yep.
Even fun, the more even a dangerous sport that's a lot of fun, have a respect for it. I'm a surfer. I have a lot of
Nice.
respect for the ocean. A lot of respect.
Yeah,
Yep.
me and Matt both grew up
But
swimming and
I'm like 6'8", guys. As you can tell, I'm a
oh
big
shit.
Oh my
motherfucker.
goodness. Wow.
So it takes a lot for the ocean to throw me around, but you still have to have respect. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
why I would want to learn from a professional like yourself before even really consider owning one. You said something important, which is mindset. The mindset you need to be in. It's not that you're raging at somebody and pulling out a gun. No, no, no. There
Yep.
needs to be mindset that needs to be taught. So, so dudes, I really got to go, but it's
Yep.
really amazing talking to you.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, we
Thanks
thank
again.
thank
We
you.
won't keep you any longer. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Thanks a
bring
lot.
my buddy Frank on for so you can talk to him. He'll have a lot
Yes.
of interesting stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell him, let him know, give him Garrett's information so we can get in contact with Garrett and we can try and set up something with him. And I would
Cool.
love to hear what he's got to say about the
He
hydroponics and stuff like that.
he's in the Cosmos chat as Frank Toko.
Oh,
You've talked to him.
yeah.
He's there.
Cool, man.
So if I can send it to him, I send him to you. But he's down, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
Well,
man.
we appreciate
All
you,
right.
man. Awesome
Thank
video.
you. I think it's about time for me to harvest. So I got to harvest, then I gotta run to my mom's.
All right, man.
All
Have a
right,
good day.
man.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
See ya.
Peace out, dude.
Thanks. Bye.